Hey everybody, welcome back to becoming a practical machinist with practical machinist. It's a lot of practical, a lot of machinists in there.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
But today, I had several questions on the last video about electricity for your machines, starting a small business, how do you go about that, the taxes, the government paperwork, all that kind of fun stuff. And so I'll hit on a couple of those today. Life has been crazy here at the shop because I got a big Inconel job. If you're on my Facebook page, or not Facebook, LinkedIn, I don't use Facebook. If you're on that page, you would have seen me posting a picture of a little Inconel part. Well, there's a family of 3 parts, and they want 200 of each, and then I was just informed this last week that they want 200 of each on average monthly. So great news for me getting a monthly job, but at the same time running Inconel 625, I did not have the right tooling to do so, and tooling is very specific for those parts. But I hit up some connections and just figured out what was the best, and so I'm running a mixture right now of carbide and ceramic inserts for this job. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I've also been helping out a friend customer. One of my customers purchased another one of my customers machine shops, and they were pretty far behind on some work, and so he called me up and asked if I was willing to help out a couple of nights a week, just come in there, run it for 4 hours, just bust out parts by myself. And so I agreed, said yeah, that's not a problem. Help out a customer and help out a guy I know they need it, and so did that, and actually grabbed a buddy of mine who used to be a lathe machinist, ran the lathe department at his shop, and doesn't do that anymore, but still knows how to do all that stuff. So he helps me out 2 nights a week, and I'm up there 3 nights a week for 4 hours each night. So it's not crazy bad, but it's just 4 to 8 o'clock, which for those of you who work from home, I don't know how it works at y'all's house, but at my house, the morning times are generally the most chaotic. So it's when all my kids are doing their schoolwork, because they're enrolled in a charter school here at home. All my kids are doing school because they're enrolled in Epic charter schools. Just because of the nature of them being adopted and everything like that, we wanted to give them ample time at home to really grow closer to us and really see how our day-to-day life works and make up for a lot of lost time. So they do school from home, and so morning times are the most chaotic, especially when you have a 10, 11, and 13-year-old boys who are constantly picking at each other. So it can get a little chaotic. So for me, I really don't start getting into my flow of work till probably around 11, 12 o'clock. When things settle down, they get their lunch and they're done with school, and they can just go out and play in the yard and do all that fun stuff. So leaving home at 3:30, 3:45 to drive up to the shop to work for 4 hours 3 nights a week really kind of cuts into my production time. But it was something I felt like I needed to do, and I'm always willing to try and help people out. So it's not really that big of an issue. I just got to make up the time elsewhere during the week, which is fine. So that's been life around here. So it's been pretty crazy. So not only did I get that Inconel job, but I have another job in my truck, a really well-paying job that I haven't even been able to touch yet, and it's just been sitting in the back of my truck, wrapped up in saran wrap, driving around with me because I don't have the time or the space to pull it out, because still in construction mode at the same time. We're about to paint the room that we built for my kids and get their crap moved over so that I have more space, which it won't be much more space, but I'll be able to organize some stuff, and everything won't be like closing in on me. So anyways, life's been crazy, but it's been crazy good. So also, fun thing, we'll get right into it on this. So your local, your state, it all depends on your state. A lot of states have incentives for manufacturing companies. And in Oklahoma, they have a incentive for manufacturing companies to where they don't have to pay sales tax. And I have been trying since I started the LLC in August of 2020, when I was just doing this part-time at nights when I was working my day job. Wasn't trying to make a ton of money. I was just helping out my employer. I've been trying since then to get this sales tax exemption, or this tax exemption, and so I finally got it. It's right here, boom, and this fun little piece of paper that says, "Woo, you don't have to pay sales tax." And the problem that I ran into with it was, first of all, you have to have your a code, industry code. It's a NACE code. Which you can find that online. You also can hit up your local government, say you're a machine shop, job shop, and they'll help you find that code. It's a government code. And then you also, here in the state of Oklahoma, every month you have to go online and you have to register how much you owe in sales tax. So I was paying all my sales taxes. Like every time I purchased something, every time anything like that, I paid my sales tax. So I didn't owe any money, but nobody told you when you start a business that you have to do that. So I had to go through and each month fill out this form online saying I don't owe any sales tax. And then I finished all that, and because I got a stack of letters like that thick, one for every month that I didn't do it since I started. And basically all said, this was last month, if you don't get this taken care of, you have to go to court and you will face charges. And kind of blew me back a little bit, and I just like my mind imploded, and I was like, what is going on? And so what I did is I was also filing my taxes at that time, and so I just called up a tax organization, because I did my own taxes last year, business taxes and personal, and I highly recommend that you don't ever do that in your life, because it was horrible, absolutely horrible. I mean, I used QuickBooks, and then I was using TurboTax, and like for some reason they didn't mesh, even though they're owned by the same company. And like I was on the phone for like 6 hours going through every step with some guy, getting my taxes filled out. And then we still didn't do it right, because this year I got money owed to me from the IRS from last year. So I don't recommend doing it. I went to a local place, paid $120, and got my personal and my business taxes all done. And they took care of all of it for me right there. It took about 20 minutes. We just sat down with them, and it was awesome, great. I just opened up my QuickBooks, whatever form they needed was there. So if you are planning on starting your own business, or for personal, if you want to get your personal finances in order, you want to track your spending and everything like that, QuickBooks Online I think is like 25 bucks a month. For the first year it's like 12. So it is a great tool to keep track of everything, all of your purchases, where your money's going for each month for bills. You can have it attached right to your bank account, so it can look at your bank account and see how much money is there, and then also track all your things. So I just use it for my business, because we're in the middle. We use Bank of America, and Bank of America is terrible, and so we're in the middle of getting everything in order to be able to switch banks. We traveled the country for a while. I was all over New York, East Coast, Florida, New York, Michigan, Oklahoma, and so the easiest thing was Bank of America. But anyways, I digress. So get a hold of your local government stuff. For us, it's the Oklahoma Tax Commission is what they are, and they have a website. They have all that kind of stuff. So I got all that sales tax stuff taken care of, and then on top of that, nobody tells you when you start an LLC, a limited liability company, that in the state of Oklahoma, at least, every year you have to pay another $40, $20 or $40 to keep your LLC in good standing with the state. And so I got all my sales tax taken care of, and the tax commission calls me and said, hey, we want to redo your sales tax stuff and send it to you, but your company is not in good standing with the state of Oklahoma, so you need to get that taken care of. And that's all they told me. They didn't tell me how to get it taken care of. They didn't tell me anything else. So I had to go search for it, and I had to end up going to the Secretary of State online, finding my company, and then redoing my LLC and getting just all I had to do was pay, I think it was $20 or $40, and say that yes, we're still at the same address, yes, we're still here, everything's good, we're still in operation, and it put your thing in good standing. Nobody called me, nobody anything, but a week later I got that magical little piece of paper that has a magical little number on it that makes it so I don't have to pay sales tax. So beautiful thing. So I did that. So that's the tax thing. So if you're starting your own thing, first of all, you got to form a company. You can do sole proprietorship, proprietorship, whatever it is, limited liability company, or anything else. I went with limited liability company in case the market crashes and oil field takes a dump. They can't take any of my personal stuff. LLC it's a limited liability company, which means if something happens and you go bankrupt, all they can touch is stuff that's in the business name. So the only thing they can take is this machine until I pay it off. And then once I pay it off, you know, then it's mine. And I don't want anybody, the bank can't come and take it because it's mine. So they can't take my house, they can't take my cars, any of that. So I recommend an LLC just for that sake if you're starting out. But that's just my personal opinion. And to do that, you just go online and type into Google, how do I start an LLC in Oklahoma? In whatever. Don't use any of the fake sites. There's other sites that will do all the work for you. It is so easy to start an LLC. You don't need to pay somebody else extra money to do it. In the state of Oklahoma, it took me like 5 minutes. It cost me $20, $40 to do it. And so it's not hard to do. Make sure you're going to your local government sites to do it, your state government sites. And then also somebody asked me about powering this from home, and I've talked to a couple people on the phone also about how they want to power their machines, because some people have like 150 amps running to their house, 200. I have 200, and so they were wondering, like, how do I do that? I don't have three-phase running to my house. So if you've done any research into it, then you probably heard of phase converters. I will take you over there. I will show you my phase converter that's powering my machine, and how I have it set up. Okay, y'all. All right. So this is it. So right here, I have a single phase knife switch is what I call it. I don't know, but it has two fuses in it that I'll just shut all this off. We can open it. So if you look inside, there's two fuses. I have my power coming in from my box. It's on an amp, a breaker over here. And to get that information on breakers, I bought an American rotary phase converter. This is a 20 horsepower, and they always recommend that you go double whatever your machine is. So for me, my machine peaks at 10 horsepower, but it runs at like 7.5. So they said they recommend a 20 horsepower phase converter, and it's running off of a 60 amp breaker is what it's running off at the moment, which I think I went too much on the 60 amps. I think I only needed like 40, 45, or a 50, and but I went above and beyond just to be safe. But what it does is you hook up your 110 power, your 220 volt single phase to your breaker, tie all that into your box, run it over. I use this switch. You don't have to, but I use it in case of thunderstorms. We are in Oklahoma, a lot of storms. If ever something was to hit a pole or something like that and I got a surge of electricity run through my house, these would pop and break. If my machine was running, these would pop and cut power before it ruined my phase converter or got into my electronics on my machine. So I did that for an extra safety measure. And then every time I leave, I shut down and everything, I always turn it off so there's no way any sort of electrical current can get through it to get to it. But then you just, the American Rotary phase converters, they make ones for CNC machines, which is great. If you're running manuals at your house, like you got a manual mill, an old Bridgeport and lathe, honestly, you can run those off of VFDs. You can buy a VFD on Amazon, hook it up, move it all over, because they're not very high horsepower, not doing much. So you don't even have to worry about this if you're planning on manual machines in your garage. Or if you're buying like the Haas TM series or the mini mills, those all have the option to run on single phase. So yet again, another thing that you don't have to worry about. But if you're going full-blown bigger CNC, this is the way to go. They have digital phase converters. I've never used one. I've heard negatives and positives. I've heard nothing but positives about American Rotary. You can buy them directly from them, or you can buy them on Amazon. And so I think this one, I got it priced into my SBA loan when I started out, and this one was $3 grand for this. No, this was $2,500 for this, because it comes with a big old 20 horsepower motor. Because that's how this works. It takes your 220 volt and it's full of capacitors in there and stuff, like starting capacitors, running capacitors, and it provides the power, and you attach to a motor down below, and that is what powers your other leg for 3-phase. Don't ask me all the electrical questions. I don't know. So that's how you get power to your machine. Most 200 amp houses, I have a smaller house. It's only 1,200 square feet, and so my air conditioning unit isn't huge. And then we don't have a lot of crazy stuff in here. Like, we have your normal electronics, but like none of my kids have cell phones or iPads. So like, we're not constantly charging those things. We don't really ever use tablets. I use my one computer. The kids use their computers for like 2.5 hours a day. So the electrical power pulling from this house isn't crazy. So I could fit that onto my normal 200 amp breaker. But the plan right now in the works is to get another lathe with increased capabilities. So I'm looking at upgrading my power to 400 amps, which I'm not exactly sure how to do yet. I'm still confused on it and still trying to work it all out. So don't ask me in the comments how to do that, because I'm not sure, and you know, you're probably smarter than me anyways. So that's the electrical power. That's how you do that. Phase converters, and if you have any questions about that, just call Rotary, American Rotary. They're an American made company. Everything's made in America. They're very good quality, and they're quiet. They run quiet too, so they're not like crazy loud like cheaper phase converters that I've heard. These are actually very quiet. They run smooth. I think they hold electricity, your percentage wise, whatever it is, I don't know, like within 5%, which most CNCs are within 10. So you're good on that. But anyways, that's how you do that. We got the tax stuff. If you're wanting to start your LLC, that's how you do it. You got your tax stuff, and then you got your phase converters running to it. This wasn't exactly a really great machining video. I don't know if it'll get a lot of views because it's not about machining. It's not about a controversial subject like people not paying you or things like that, but it's very necessary information that I never found on YouTube or online anywhere. There is some stuff on the Practical Machinist forum, but you do run into differing opinions on the forum as well, because anybody can get on there and give their opinion. But it's still a great source of information, so you could probably find more information on there also. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like I said, that's your sales tax and your electricity all in one video. You know, I'm double dipping here, guys. I could have made that 2 videos, but I love you guys, and I want you guys to know as much as possible so you can be better than me. So that's it. Subscribe to Practical Machinist. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment. Please, guys, put your comments in there. I'm in there personally responding, liking comments. I don't care if you got negative stuff or positive stuff. You can say my shop looks like trash, and I'll probably get on there and be like, you are so right, you know, because life is crazy and busy, and I don't always have time to make it look like a sterile, clean environment. But you know, say what you want in those comments. It's YouTube. You can say what you want. I don't care. I can take it. I'm a big boy. You know, I got a beard. You know, that kind of thing. That doesn't make me a big boy. But anyways, like and subscribe to Practical Machinist. Check out all their stuff. They're always putting out great content. So get on to that. And yeah, hit me up on LinkedIn if you want. Ken Parent Manufacturing. Sorry about the nose. Woke up this morning and it was draining, so that was fun. But anyways, keep everything going. I love you guys. Keep pushing this, watching these videos. I love making them. And so that's it for now. We will see you next time.